Today we're going to talk about a criminal journalist who reported on some of the most darkest cases in the criminal world. Little did we know at the time that he was holding a dark secret. Jack Unterweger was born on August 16 of 1950 in Juniperberg, Styria. He grew up in foster homes after his mother was imprisoned for murder, and by the time he was a teenager he was already living a life of crime. At the age of 18, he was convicted of murder of Margaret Schaefer, which he did by strangling her with her own bra, and was sentenced to a life imprisonment in 1976. You would think this would be the end of the story, but you'd be wrong. By 1985, a campaign to pardon him was commenced. But President Rudolf Kuschlager actually refused the petition and mandated that he at least serve the minimum 15 years of his life sentence. He was released on May 23rd of 1990, only serving the minimum 15 years of his life sentence. After he was released, purgatory was taught in Austrian schools, and his stories for children was performed on Austrian radio. He then hosted a television program on criminal rehabilitation and worked as a journalist on a public broadcast, which he reported stories concerning heinous murders for a culprit that was still at large. He was becoming a rising star and seen as somebody that could be a reformed criminal as he traveled Europe to report these murders. However, in 1992, his dark secret was uncovered that he himself was actually the serial killer, the very one that he was reporting on during his travels. He spent his time both bolstering the public's fear and targeting sex workers as he traveled different cities. He used his position to access crime scenes and police investigations, feeding his desire for both intellectual and physical satisfaction. His crimes mirrored the patterns he would write about in his articles, which became clear that he used his journalistic platform to hide his true intents. What made Jack most terrifying was not just the crimes that he committed, but the complex psychology behind it. He spent many years diving into minds of criminals, understanding their motives and patterns, but yet failed to recognize the dark urges within himself. He was the reporter and the criminal, blurring the lines in the most tragic way. Jack was arrested in 1994 and later charged with the murders that he committed while posing as a crime journalist. He was sentenced to a life in prison. However, in June 1994, he unalived himself by hanging. His story is a tragic reminder of how dangerous an obsession can be and how thin the lines can be between criminal and observer.